So once there was a young man. He was very, very inquisitive about the nature of the universe, life, and basically he was a spiritual seeker. So he's looking for that elusive state that he's heard of, which is called enlightenment. So he goes to various masters and sees whether he can get enlightenment. So he goes, eventually after visiting many masters, he goes to a Zen monk and he meets that old monk and he says, dear sir, I am a very intense spiritual seeker. I am seeking enlightenment. How long will it take for me to get enlightened? So the monk looks at him very calmly, very peacefully, and he says, it will take you 10 years. He said, 10 years? He says, that's a long time to get enlightened. Is there a shorter period of time? What if I work really, really hard, and if I'm really, really dedicated, if I'm really, really resilient towards my goal, and I really put in a lot of effort, then how long will it take for me to get enlightened? So the old monk looks at him again and he says, 20 years. He said, what? Like if I'm working more, if I'm putting in more effort with more dedication and wanting to get enlightened faster, you're saying that it will take me double the time. Why is that? So then the monk looks at him and says, the harder you try, the more difficult it gets. So why I'm sharing this story with you is because we have all been conditioned since childhood to put in a lot of effort, to do something, to achieve something. And most of our effort comes out of a sense of internal or external pressure. Because we feel that as we are not good enough. So we are trying to achieve something, to complete something where we feel we are not good enough. So we want to be either the first in the class, we want to do well in business, we want to have many subscribers, we want to achieve something, so we feel worthy about ourselves. So our action stems from that. The more we try to do things and the more we try to achieve something, that creates more and more stress for us. Whereas if you really look at nature, nature is simply unfolding things on its own. Everything is happening at its own time. If a mango has to ripen at a certain time, it will ripen at a certain time. It cannot ripen before that time. If our body needs certain time for digesting the food, then it will take that time for digesting the food. If you look at the seasons, you have spring, summer, you have autumn, then you have winter. It's a cycle, it's a natural rhythm. But our mind, when it gets to achievement orientation, it gets very attached to our goal and it wants to get things done fast and it wants to control things, and which is where all the stress comes. So here is my advice, which is about let things happen, which doesn't mean you become passive. Now, before I give you 3 tips for letting things happen, let me say this video is not for people who are dull and lethargic. If you're dull and lethargic or tamasic, then please don't watch this video further. This video is only for people who are rajasic and who constantly want to do things and control things and achieve things. So what are the 3 tips that we can follow to allow things to happen and unfold on their own organically? The first is do what is needed, which simply means don't overdo things. Supposing you're planning an event or something, then it goes step by step, right? You need to maybe find a location for the event. Maybe then you need to create a brochure. So take one step at a time. Just focus on what is needed to be done right now. Our stress is because we are already thinking 10 steps ahead. So do simply what is needed. The second tip, fulfill your responsibility, which means don't get too attached to, okay, ye hoga ki nahi hoga, whether someone will see it, like it, what will people say? You have done your responsibility over. You had set out to do something, you did your job, that's over. Like if you have to post something on a regular basis on social media, Post it. Then you don't have to see how many likes I got, how many subscribers, how many this. You've done your job. I'm just giving one example. And the third tip is that use goals as a direction only, which means don't get too attached to the goals and the outcomes. That is one of our biggest problems. We get too attached to the goal and outcome, and we believe if we achieve the goal, then we are worthy. And if the goal is not achieved, then we are unworthy. Use the goal, have goals, but use them only to direct your energy. At the end of the day, the work is a reward in itself. The very fact that you're engaged with your energy, doing your work, doing your duty, that is your biggest reward. So keep these three things in mind. Do what is needed, fulfill your responsibilities, and goals are for direction only. So I'll end with a quote, which is my own quote. When you drop too much effort, too much attachment to outcome, then you align yourself to the universe. And when you align yourself to the universe acts. The action of the universe is not a doing. The action of the universe is a natural expression of being. Namaste. Thank you.